These are all or continuous integration as such. These are all different agile practices, right? And when we talk agile, agile is a philosophy, whereas there are methodologies like Scrum, like Kanban, like extreme programming, like there is like DSG and all those things, right? And then there is agile testing. Agile testing is actually not methodology. Okay, it's not a methodology; it's a practice. Okay, and we will see what it covers. But before we go, we'll just like look at the agenda. There are only 3 points, and is there anything else that you want to cover? We can just add it there. Okay, so in the agenda we'll go like what is agile testing? Then we will go over like agile testing practices, and most importantly, a tester's role in agile testing. Okay. Yes. So when we talk about like the agile testing, let's first go to the definition of what is testing. So can anybody here explain me what is testing? And if you could not, it's a question on the job. Anyway.
Testing is to find bugs and defects.
Okay, testing is to find the bugs.
Is the confidence of the quality of the
Okay.
It meets the requirement of the client.
Verification of the, the build or the product against the requirements. Yes.
finding bugs and make sure it gets
Delivering the quality product.
Writing the application by executing the software which helps in improving the quality, the security, and the quality of the developed product.
We're not that tall to give a long definition. Right? Okay. So when we talk about testing, this is what we do. We like these are the different types of testing we do. I mean, you know this better. I don't have like talk because I'm not a testing professional, right? But we do like unit testing, then we do the functional testing, we do integration testing, and the product is ready. Once the product is ready, then we go ahead and do the smoke testing, the scenario-based testing, and the acceptance testing, and the product is delivered. Right? This is how we ensure the quality of the product. So the title is like testing for quality conformance. Right? Is it really true that the testing should be done only for the quality conformance?
No.
Okay, I got 1% here that says no. No. Two. Good. Okay? So there is a lot more behind the testing process as such, right? Now going forward to the next slide, please. What is testing? We said like process to find the defects. A supporting task for development team. How many of you actually feel that testing is considered to be a supporting task of the development team? We heard that on the TV just now, right? I mean, somebody was saying, okay, I think you were the one who was saying like, oh, testing was supposed to be a supporting task, but it's no more. Now testing is by choice. It's a processing by choice, right? So it is considered to be a supporting task for the development team, responsible for approving the product quality and not the product quality itself. How many of you believe on this one? 100%. Right? I mean, testing team is supposed to be approving the product quality and not for the product quality. Okay? Late in the project with little to contribute in the beginning, I just heard from Disha, like, I mean, on an agile project when you have got 2 weeks of sprint, if you get the build on the 7th day, what are we supposed to do? Isn't it? So, late in the project with little contribute. Why even talk about agile projects only? Even if we talk about waterfall projects, when does the testing begin? Right? I mean, if I have a 6 months project, 12% of my time goes into requirement analysis. I don't know who's doing the requirement analysis. Then some people sit in a room, do the designing. There are some stupid coders who are sitting in a room and doing the programming, and then like 4 months down the line I get the product, which is not even tested by anyone yet, and I'm responsible for finding all the defects. Once the product is delivered, the customer finds like another 10 defects or 100 defects, million defects, and then the question comes back to me only, saying, why didn't you find the defect earlier? Right? Should I be the responsible person for not finding that defect? Shouldn't the developer be responsible for introducing that defect in the first place? Shouldn't the person who was doing the BA responsible for not documenting and explicitly putting in bold fonts, underlined, yellow highlighted, saying this is the requirement? Well, the entire requirement document will be highlighted that, right? Painstaking task of communicating bugs and following up on fixes. I mean, this is more important, following up on fixes. I give you a bug, you are supposed to fix this. Why am I supposed to go back and verify whether that is fixed or not? Right? What is the life cycle of a defect? Identified, fixed, closed, verified, retired, whatever that is. Not good at testing. Right? And very painful process of fighting with the developers. I personally do not believe this is the right thing actually. I mean, I don't think testers actually fight with the developers. Do you believe? Developers do. No, I'm telling you, I'm from the development side.
मेरे यहाँ तो सही चल रहा है.
This actually happens on a day-to-day basis. Right? I mean, there is a defect, no, this is not a defect. But there is a defect. It works on my machine. That's the best. Right? Yes. The question is, you guys see everything on the slide because the color code I think is the color combination not too good, right? The question is, you like it? I mean, you being considered as supporting staff, you fighting with the development team, and you being made responsible for improving the quality. I mean, if you are not involved from the day one of the product, if you are not involved in the business analysis, if you are not involved in the system architecture and design and the development of the product, how can you go back and approve the quality? Right? So the question still remains, do you like it? Okay, it still remains. Do you like it? Okay? Nice. So there we actually impart or infuse or get the agile testing practices. Okay? I emphasize on the word practice, not process. We impart the agile testing practices on board, which will help you to actually get rid of all those problems that we're talking about. We still have one person here who's actually looking at me amazed because she is the one who is working on agile project, but she still gets the same question. How do I get the bill on the 7th day? Okay? Because it's not ready on the day one. That's the right answer. Anyway, so agile testing as a practice is based on the Agile Manifesto. Okay, Agile Manifesto talks about 4 things. Before that, can somebody read this for me, please? Loud and clear.
Values, principles and practices that foster team communication and feedback to regularly deliver customer value through working software.
Okay? Do you think any of the word in this definition is not needed?
All.
When I do my agile conversations, this is the definition of agile practice, okay? Agile definition. So any word you drop from this definition, maybe I mean the and you can probably drop and replace them with a comma, that's okay. But each and every word is actually a loaded word. So this is a fully qualified definition of agile process. Okay? So values, principles and practices. Okay, what is the difference between values and principles? Let's talk about this. What are principles are? Say that again?
Something that you follow leader.
Yes, any other word for that? I was waiting for this one. Why not call them as rules then?
Yeah.
Why call them principles? What is the difference between a rule and a principle?
Rule is something which you are mandatory to follow. Principle is something which you follow.
Voluntarily.
Your own thought.
Rule is something compulsory, but principle is maybe sometimes optional.
Okay.
Like it's
Stopping at the red lights, rule or principle?
Rule.
It is imposed.
Right?
It is imposed.
Principle is?
Habitually.
Principle is actually, okay, my definition of principle says, the principle is a rule that cannot be changed under any circumstances. That's the principle. I need to go to gym at 6:30 a.m. Don't look at it. That's the principle. I don't. So that's a different story. But I need to go to gym every morning at 6:30. That's my principle. I follow it. Right? I will never backstab someone else. It's a rule of like civil organization, right? But people don't follow it because they make it a rule. People will follow when they make it a principle. So any rule that you must follow under any circumstances is a principle. Okay? Values, principles and practices that foster team communication. The team communication does not mean this is a defect and this is not a defect. That's called fine. Okay? That foster team communication and feedback to regularly deliver. Identity development, something we talked about, right? To regularly deliver customer value. Why are we delivering the software? Why are we developing the software if it does not deliver the value to the customer? The customer says, okay, this is my requirement document. We develop the software. Everybody tests it. Looks good. We give it to the customer. Customer says, this is not what I want. Right? Is that a good software or bad software? Rather, that's not a software in the first place, right? So delivering the customer value through working software. Anytime you develop something, it needs to be in a working mode. Right? I mean, you said like 90 days iterations. I mean, we will come to the size of the iteration and how much things that it needed. But let's say I'm following a 2-week sprint. At the end of the 2 weeks, I deliver something which is not yet fully ready. The customer can't even deploy it yet. Okay, we are done with like partial development. That is not a working software. You're supposed to work on a piece of software that you can complete in the given time frame, which is tested, verified, everything, and the customer should look at it. He can, if required, he or she can actually deploy it in the production. Agile process says a release is never more than 1 sprint away. Okay, simple principle says a release is never more than 1 sprint away. Let's go over the manifesto. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over complex documentation, Customer collaboration or contract negotiation, and responding to change or following the plan. Can anybody help me with like what are the definition or these like just releases? How many of you, let's maybe, give this way. How many of you believe this is true? Or what is your understanding? Let's go over this word. Working software or comprehensive documentation. What's your understanding of this particular sentence in Agile context?
There is that in regular our traditional testing we focus on much more on a document. We need this document ready, we need this document signed. There are not a list of documents. When we talk about Agile, it focuses on a working software instead of so much focus on documents.
Sure. Let's take an example. What kind of documentation do you generate when you do the testing? Okay. Let's take the test defect. You test the software, you find the defect, and you tell the developer, okay, there's a defect. Is your job done? What are you supposed to do? What are you required or expected or asked to do by your manager? You're supposed to log that defect somewhere first, right? Then you log that defect, you're supposed to follow up with the developer. Then the developer goes and says, okay, it's fixed. Then you go back and make a change and all those things. Why do we need, let's say, in the 2-week sprint, I find like 300 defects. I do not log them. But at the end of the 2 weeks, some way, by some mechanism, all these 300 defects are actually fixed. I don't have an evidence of it. But the defects are fixed. If you run the software now, you will not find any of these 300 defects. Is that good enough? Or do you need the 300 defects logged and tracked, but 200 fixed and 100 still open? Which scenario you will prefer?
Second.
One more time.
Second one.
How many of this is second? Let's do a vote. And how many of this is first? And there are many people who is third. I don't know. If you ask me, Agile says the first scenario. If you can ensure by some means that all 300 defects are fixed at the end of the sprint or end of that particular time, you're done. Why are you logging those defects? There may be two objectives. First, to ensure that these defects are not lost anywhere and they are fixed and tracked to closure, which you are ensuring anyways. The second, this data you can use like in the future for some analysis which never helps you. Right? Of course, exaggeration, but still. Isn't it? So, now many people think that this particular statement is actually motherhood of all the problems. Agile says no documentation. How many of you believe that? Or how many of you heard that? How many of you believe that? That Agile says no documentation. Does it say that way? Does this statement say that working software over comprehensive documentation? It doesn't say working software over documentation. It says comprehensive documentation. Right? You do not need too much of documentation. If you need to capture the requirements of software, you don't need like 300-page document. If you can cover your requirements in a better way, I think you are good. Agile is the works on the principle of good enough. Right? It doesn't go towards perfection. How many of you actually work on like as a business analyst and prepare some requirement documents? You work on it? Very good at it? It's appraisal period, okay? So you don't rate yourself less than 3. When it's self-appraisal, it's always 4 or 5, or like beyond 5 also it means. 10 out of 10, 11 rather. Always. Right? Okay. So, when you prepare the requirement document, if you go to the requirement document today, do you think you will find any review comments? Self-appraisal review, let's say. Will you be able to improve it? Yes? Okay, 3 months down the line, you go to the same document again. Will you be able to improve it? Again, 3 months down the line, will you be able to add a little more improvements in that one? When do we stop?
Unless you baseline it.
When do you baseline?
When we're absolutely sure that the requirement won't change.
Can you be absolute sure that the requirement won't change?
No.
Did you buy your flag?
Yes.
What did you look at when you bought the flag?
This is convenience
You
to
look
the
at
officer.
everything, and then like you look at the blueprint, the layout and everything. When the walls were being put in place and not there some intervals, did the builder call you? You want any changes, sir?
Never.
Never. Do you expect to make any changes internal to your flag? Or do you think that okay, this should have been different?
Yes.
Why? You saw the blueprint, right? Why did it change? You paid like what, 30, 40, 50 crore, I don't know how much that money is. Depends on when you buy, right?
Don't put the CR.
Yes, see, but if you put the C, other people are going to put you 5 lakh, right? So why did the requirement change? You bought your own flat with your own money. Still you think it needs to change. So when do you think requirements are further?
Never.
Never. Isn't it? Never. And when do you actually see a first change? Seek a first change in any requirement?
During testing, this is the first bit.
When you see it yourself. Right? When you see it yourself, you go to a shop, you buy a simple 5 rupees pen. You take a paper, you just make some signatures, cut them so that nobody can actually make a part of this and all those things. You take it home, 5 rupees pen. Next time, you will buy a 7 rupees pen, not a 5. I'm not taking inflation into consideration, okay? Why? Because that 5 rupee change, when you start using it, you think, oops, doesn't work the way I wanted. Right? The only time you will come to know about the problems in the application or problems in that particular system, anything, flat, pen or software, is when you first use it. Right? And therefore what it says is incremental development. Where did it go? Right? Working software so that the customer can use it and can give you actually the feedback also. Individuals and interactions of processes and tools. How many projects actually follow the processes? Rather, let's go back. Let's not be too realistic. How many projects have defined processes? All of them, right? If not 99.99999,
Very few.
So decimals actually still have them. And how many projects are successful? Not many, right? Very few. Why? How many projects follow the tools, project management tools, documentation tools, ticket tracking tools, communication tools, whatever that thing. Right? We follow everything that was told, was prescribed, processes and tools. Still we have problems. How could these problems be fixed? Only by individuals and interactions. You can improve the quality of anything by individuals and interactions. Let's go with this flat. If he goes back to the builder, says, boss, you know what, I want this particular wall, people like only from the top to bottom. I don't want the lower part for some reason, we don't know. Right? Yeah. What is builder going to say? No sir, it's not possible, sir, whatever it is. But if you have that good, faithful relationship with the builder, a friendly relationship, a healthy relationship with the builder, what is builder going to say? Why do you want to do it? What is the objective? Right? तुमको क्या करना है? मेरे को चाहिए बस. Will that work? Probably not, right? Well, you know what? I think like I'll play cricket here, and I'm going to like teach my son to more like whatever, because I want him to be Sachin Tendulkar box cricket. Some stupid reason, I know. But you talk to the developer builder, you try to explain him, and he says, you know what, sir, I think this is not possible. Can we do this way? Instead of giving from top to bottom, I'll give like vertical half. He explains, we talk, probably you work out a solution. Right? How that happens? Through interactions. And who interacts? Donkeys and pigs and monkeys. Right? I mean, pigs and chickens are. Right? Going to the next one, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. You are expecting a typical example. Okay? We were working with one of our customers, bidding for a software system to be developed. Timeline was so tight, it had to go live in 3 months. We started the negotiations in the month of November. The negotiations went till month of April. They expected the software to be ready by July. We said, forget about the contract. If we had started on this, we would have a software today. Right? We wasted time and money. The customer wasted time and time to market more critically. And today, he is in a suit. Running like mad donkey. He has a software with lots of defects because it was a time crunch, right? And then there's it. Responding to change or following a plan. How many of you actually plan to come here at 9 o'clock this morning? You guys, when you got the note, what was 10 o'clock, right? Sorry, 10 o'clock. When the meeting was supposed to start at 10 o'clock, how many of you thought, I'll reach there by 9:55 to 10 o'clock? Because I don't want to miss the first session. How many of you really couldn't make it? I couldn't, I know. And you also know. Right? What do we do? Oh, come on, it's 10 o'clock, I'll go back home now. Right? That's what we should be doing. Because that's what the plan says. We generally do not do that. What we do, we generally adapt. 30-minute session went over 1 hour, right? Another session, I think she left, right? That also went over time. What do we do? Okay, Dinesh, your time is up. back up. Let's do that, right? Why not? Because it's our section, we want to learn it, so what we do? We be flexible, we adapt to the change. That's what it says. Responding to change or following a plan. You have to let's not go there. Okay? It's not a process, it's a practice, as I said. Agile testing is not a process. First you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, that's a process. Agile testing is not a process. It doesn't tell you you should do this first, and then do that, and then do this. It's a practice. It's a behavior. Okay? Customer facing. Agile testing is customer facing. When you do the testing in the waterfall model, what you are looking at is the requirement document, the developer's release basis, and any other documentation that you can actually look at, and a system that is broken. Right? Well, that is definitely needed, but what you need is an interaction with the customer. If there is a requirement, okay, you say, okay, this is a defect, developer, this is not a defect, you spend 2 hours fighting, it works on my machine, doesn't work on your machine, you know what, if you put the laptop upside down, it works. Whatever that thing is, right? So, you are supposed to print a 9 and developer says it's a 9, because it's looking from that side. There is a funny joke about it from engineering college. Most of the engineering college have this joke, and they say it's happening, it happened in my college as well, so I will also say that. It was like a YWAS, you know like YWAS, right? The oral exams. So we were having theoretical engineering oral exam, and the examiner came and he said, what is this? Motor? How does it go? It says like, this way, sir? No, tell me clockwise or anti-clockwise. Clockwise, sir? Run clockwise. Okay? So what do you do to like run it anti-clockwise? What is the technical answer to it? Do you know the technical answer? You got to reverse the polarity, right? Well, the answer is, sir, come on this side. It's anti-clockwise this side. Isn't it? So, if there is a problem that you are discussing with the person, that this works on my machine, this doesn't work on my machine, whatever it is, who is the best person to tell you how it is supposed to? The customer? And who is the person who should go back to the customer? Project manager? Developer? Or tester?
Everybody.
As a matter of fact, everybody, if everybody is not available, I have got my kids' exam and somebody has his brother's marriage, the tester should be the person who should have interaction with the customer, because you are the one who thinks it should be different. The developer is not agreeing to the fact that it should be different because he has developed it, he doesn't want to go back and change it, because if he wants to change it, he has to create a 30-page document which talks about impact analysis. Right? So customer facing, the tester should have a face time with the customer where he can go back and resolve it. Right? And then redefine the role of the tester. We are on slide number 3, 20 minutes long. Okay? So let's look at the cost of quality. I believe all of you know this. Don't have to spend too much time on this one. The later you find the defect, the cheaper it is to fix. No, I mean for us better it is to fix. It's going to change it, right? No. So the later you find the defect, the cost of that particular thing is high. So if I introduce a tester somewhere here, this is not a flawed process in the first place. If I can introduce a tester here, I can get like fixes here. But if I introduce the tester here, that itself is a flawed process. And if I introduce the tester somewhere here, man, help the customer. Isn't it? Okay. So agile testing principles. Okay? These are some of the agile testing principles. Front runner, then back burner. A tester is the front runner, then the back burner. You do not introduce the tester at the end of the cycle. That tester is there on the first day. There will be questions about like how do we do the costing and budgeting and all those things. Probably outside this, or maybe like there is a second unit. We can talk. Okay? I don't intend to like take it for 3 hours. I introduce the second unit anyway. So front runner then back burner. So tester is supposed to be the front runner of the team. Okay? That is not a phase task, but a parallel one. You do not do requirement analysis, design, construction, and then do the testing, then do the defect fixing and all those things. It's not that. It's actually we do the testing parallel to the development. But seriously, can you test something which is not developed? Can you test something which is not developed? Okay. Yes. Yes. How many say yes? Good God. And how many say no? Okay? Why not? Or any thoughts? Exactly. I mean, is she wrong? Did you guys hear what she said? One more time, louder please. You can't see the software, so what will you test? Right? Requirements. Risk-based testing. When do you have to do this analysis? Once everything is done, sit down, let's come brainstorm. No. When are you doing it? Ahead of something happening, right? A risk is actually identified when it is done. Not that, isn't it? So when you are writing the test cases, what are you doing? You're actually testing a software virtually, which is not yet there. You are expecting, okay, this is what should happen if this happens, and if this happens, then I go home. Right? So you are writing all these test cases, you are actually testing a software in your mind when you are actually talking about the requirements in the first place. As a matter of fact, when you start budgeting the software, you get the IFP from the customer. At that time, you start designing the application. How do you do the WBS estimation? Low, high, complex? Low, medium, complex kind of thing? Where is this low, medium, complex coming from? You are thinking of designing and developing, right? Okay, what is involved in this one? You don't know that, but you are doing it. So you are actually testing the software right then and there itself. What will happen if you do a file transfer for this particular integration? There is an integration requirement. No, let's do this stuff. What are you doing? You are actually doing ifs and else and buts and all those things, and you are testing the software there itself. So that is what we say. It's not a phase start, it's a parallel one. You started from day -1, not day 1 actually. Right? Ensure expectations coverage. Very explicit thing, okay? Ensure expectations coverage. Somebody said that, okay, this testing is supposed to ensure the requirements. Casting and that, get that one. But there are lots of documents which are on agile, that's good. Okay? So, ensure expectations coverage. It's not about the requirements, it's about the expectations. If there is a requirement which is not fixed, which is not developed properly according to you, and the developer thinks, no, it's done, and then you talk to the on-site coordinator and the project manager checks the clock, okay, 5 o'clock, you are supposed to be deliverable. You know what, it's not a difference. Right? And then it goes and the customer says, why on this earth you did not ask me? Now, any one of you raise your hand and tell me that whenever there is a defect, that should be asked to the customer was documented requirement. Was it? Does your customer expect that? That's what it is. You got to ensure the expectations, right? When you buy a flat, he is expecting the convenience. What does convenience means to you? Is it documented in your agreement? It's not. The flat needs to be close to a school for my kids, and it needs to close to my workplace also because I work in the same school, whatever it is. But if it is not, the flat is not good enough for you. You are just going to wait for the rates to high, sell it off, buy something new, and keep on paying the loan with 12% of interest. More. Right? So you've got to make sure that you are managing the expectations. Requirements absolutely must. If you do not develop the software which is functionally incorrect, okay, I'll come to that point again one more time, okay? If you do not develop a software which is functionally incorrect, customer is definitely not going to like it. But you develop a software which is functionally excellent, performs very well, everything is fine. But in the course of the project, you had like million files with the customer. What will be your CSAT rating? 60%? I can guarantee it's not more than 75%. You want me to sign a bond? I can do it. Yes, right? If you have like lots of, fighting or arguments with the customer, that software is not, software is going to say, that relationship is not going to say. And what is your job? When we work in the IT industry, what is our job? To develop the software? No, right? Our job is to ensure that that customer, that stupid customer, gives the next project back to us again. That is the agenda, no other agenda. You do not develop the software because customer wants it and because he is paying for it. You develop the quality software with all satisfactions because you want second project, or third, or fourth, or 4-year engagement, or on-site assignments for some of them. Right? So you got to ensure that expectations are covered. Reduce feedback cycle, it's now. Okay? If there is, something we're talking about, the fight between the developer and the tester, get the feedback from the customer, what's stopping you? Go ask, fix it, finish it. Isn't it? So get the feedback from the customer, from the developer, from anybody on this earth. If you think your child is better in testing, get the feedback. Now, reduce fix cycle. Same thing. Again, go back to the same example, developer tester fight. We keep on fighting for 2 days and there is a call scheduled like next Friday. Before that, we cannot talk to the customer. Why? Because we have a scheduled call. Right? What do we do? We send out the mail, but he doesn't check the mail. He is on plane or maybe like something is wrong. He doesn't check the response back to the mail. I have a customer who doesn't respond to mails like very frequently. We send him an approval on the design. He sent it when we delivered the software. We started laughing. I mean, I can show you. I have the proofs, evidence, right? So it is the fifth type. Test driven, not test. You do not want to develop the software which is tested. You should develop the software which is test driven. Okay? What it means? I'll explain like in the next slides. Quality assurance is not only tester's responsibility. Something. If there is a defect in the system which is delivered to the customer, it's not my problem alone. Right? We cannot actually shut off saying it's not my problem. We've got to share the responsibility, we've got to share the success, we've got to share the failures. It's not the tester's problem alone. It's the problem of the BA who did not highlight it in yellow, as we say. It's the problem of the designer who did not design it properly, maybe. It's the problem of the developer. I mean, you are supposed to look to the requirements and you are supposed to develop the system. As a matter of fact, why do you need me? Why do you want to piggyback on my, why do you want to piggyback with me, right? If I was not there, what were you going to do? Simple question for the development community. None of them here. I'm asking myself. Right? So, a defect in a software is not only my responsibility, it's a shared responsibility. I take the blame that we did not find it earlier, whatever were the reasons. However, you've got to also share the blame that you did not put that thing through, you did not tell us that was the requirement, you did not discuss it with us whenever we had the problem. Right? Reduce the test documentation. Very good point. I think many of us will like it. Why do you get paid? What is your job? Testers? What is your job as a tester? Nobody said document, right? Testing of the software. Isn't it? When you actually join any testing course, they do not start with, okay, let's start with what documentation we need to prepare. Will anybody? So basically your job is to test the software. So reduce the test documentation, because if you can reduce the test documentation, you can increase your testing time, you can find more defects, as a result, you can go and build more developers. Right? And then, done is not done unless it's done. My favorite statement. Done is not done. Is it done? Yes, it's done. How do we say it's done? Anything.
Everybody agrees that to fix things out tomorrow.
And for agreeing, you need something, right? You need a definition of done, right? So I'll be covering the definition of done in the next one. So what is the definition of done? Done is not done until it is done. Very good statement. Remember it. There is a double quote also somewhere, I think, on the last slide. That is very important. Okay. What is the definition of done? You take any task. Let's say you are supposed to prepare a analysis document on one defect. Okay, there is a defect which happened and the customer did not understand on the call, and you are supposed to prepare an email with a Word document or whatever document. I don't want to like shift to Word. Any document that you are supposed to prepare, and you're supposed to send that to the customer so that they can understand it. What will you include in that document? Scripts? Anything else? Screenshots? Sorry? RCA? What else? So we all agree, if we cover this, that's sufficient? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Will we describe the problem? Okay, this is what we were trying to do and the steps to reproduce? We did not mention that. Will you mention about, okay, the system, the configuration, on which it was happening and the like time of the hour, maybe if required? When you put the screenshot, will you put a circle saying, okay, this is where the problem is, and you put an arrow saying you describe all those things? Will you put the like time that is taken for the testing? Will you try to explain whatever possible things that could be? Yes or no? Why this was not there in your done thing? Right? So basically, you've got to come up with a definition of done for a particular task, for a particular entity, and then you stick to that. Right? So if you are talking about a development task, let's say, or let's take the example of this is one. We'll come to that. We'll go back. Okay? What could be the definition of done for a testing task? Here. So you are supposed to test particular things. So what could be the definition of done for that? You are testing an application. When will you say you are done with it. When you come to the last requirement in the list, that can be done in 15 minutes. We were done on the slide 1, isn't it? But we are still not done, right? So, what could be the definition of done for a testing task?
When everyone agrees on the quality.
Who are?
All the stakeholders.
Who's everyone?
All the stakeholders.
Who are the stakeholders?
Customer,
Customer, primarily customer.
Customer. Okay?
quality confirmed by customer.
Quality confirmed by customer. What else? Do you write test cases? Will that be part of your definition of done for the testing task? Review of the test cases? Self-review, peer review, requirement, blah, 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 blah. Right? Define the test cases after the functional testing is done, because there are some scenarios which are not found. Will that be part of your definition of done? All these different tasks should be your plan, which I believe or not. Because the planning is done by one superstar, project manager, they call that. Right? Okay? So there are like two definitions of done for anything. One is process oriented, which is like creation of this, review of this, refinement of this, blah, 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 blah. And second is product oriented. If this particular testing task does not cater to these requirements which are documented and expected and understood by me, or the development community, or the user community, or the customer. There are 4 people, I mean 4 stakeholders as such. We don't care what the project manager thinks, because he will always go back to the customer. We know. Will the project manager ever come back and say, no, this is the requirement, boss? How many times the PM does that? Right? A PM is not a customer. Let's agree to that fact, right? So either the tester community, or the development community, or the customer, or the users. Right? I mean, Agile brings this angle, user angle, to the stakeholders. So unless they say, okay, this is what is supposed to happen, the functional part of it, it's not done. Right? You develop a screen, nice looking screen, all good screenshots and standards and everything. When you go to the screen, the focus is on the first control. Hit a tab, go to the last one. No, it's not there in the requirement document. Right? But that is expected by user. Your customer is not going to expect that. Right? If the customer himself is a user, he'll probably do that. But you will hear this thing most of the time from the user saying, boss, this tab goes to last one. Our MNS goes the same way. Go to like attendance regularization. Click, it says, okay, enter your start time. Hours and minutes. You enter hours, hit tab. I don't know where the control goes. I can prove it right here. We are on the language network. It goes somewhere, I don't know, maybe like to your computer. I mean, it's good stuff. Right? So, any functional related stuff and any process related stuff should be in your definition of that. Right? Okay. What is needed to come to the right definition of that? The right definition of that. Because definition of that itself is a noun. Okay, what is needed to come to the right definition of that? Anyone, help me out. Understand the expectations. Have communication, conversations with the customer, discuss with the developers, discuss with your project manager from this point of view, right? Discuss with the users. How about that? Yeah. Right? Go dig onto the net and find what other applications are like this and see what those applications do. Do you need the clever to do that? No. Right? So if you do all these kinds of things, you will come up with the right definition of that. We are still on slide number 6, I believe.
And we have got 20 minutes.
Yes. There is a lot remaining. Seriously. Okay, so I'll speed up a little fast. So this is our project life cycle. We start with like initiation, planning, requirement, design, construction, testing, user acceptance testing, and then comes the release. Any doubts with that one? Okay. Agile says this is not what we need. Agile process works a little different. Okay? It starts with initiation planning, then goes to construction. What happens to requirements and design? Okay, for the time being, I'll say we don't need it. Okay? Next comes the, testing is gone. Okay, sorry. Give me a break, man. Everything is gone, nothing is remaining. All we have is initiation planning, construction, and release. Right? Okay, next. It says initiation planning is termed as envisioning, and construction is actually sprinting. So when you sprint, you do your requirements, you design your construction. Construction is actually a wrong word in Agile world. Okay, it's called gardening. It's not building the software, it's gardening the software. Because software we don't build, we grow the software. like we do garden. Okay? So sprinting. In the sprint, you do the requirement analysis, design, construction one more time, and then you do the testing and everything. At the end of the sprint, you deliver. So where is user acceptance test?
In the sprint itself. In the sprint itself.
Yeah, but if you develop a software for 2 weeks, the customer does the UAT for how long? And when? On Saturday, Sundays? Because your sprint ends on Friday.
My test case would also have the UAT test cases as well.
Okay?
So on the basis of, on the behalf of customer, I would be testing it on the sprint itself.
On behalf of customer. The customer says, okay, you did it? Okay.
Fine, yeah, perfect.
Generally not, right? But that's the option.
When you involve the customer,
Say that again, please.
in the sprint you involve the customer as well. And while you are testing, you let the customer also have his own say on how things are going.
You develop, you demonstrate. You demonstrate multiple times. You show him this is how it's going to look. You explain him this is how it's going to work in the beginning itself, start of the sprint. You develop, you show him, you develop, you show him, you develop, you show him. Right? And dot. I was going to say that. Right? In the end of the sprint, you demonstrate the entire application based on
His needs.
the definition of done. Right? So when at the start of the sprint, you talk to the customer, come up with the definition of done for this functional requirement. You develop the software against the definition of done. Do you expect the customer to give like a lengthy definition of done of 1,500 pages? No, you are working for 2 weeks. How much can you generate in 2 weeks? You cannot dig a hole in the ground in 2 weeks, man. Come on. Right? So the definition of done will not be too lengthy. As you proceed into the application 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, you will understand the application so much, and you will understand the customer so much, and the customer will understand you so much, there will be healthy environment, and the definition of done will be evolved pretty soon. In the beginning, it will be tough. In the end, it will be like pretty easy, very easy, right? Okay. So these are the agile testing practices, and that is where our session starts. Okay? So 1 hour from now.
We'll have to, first of all, we'll see how it goes, maybe next time.
We can do that.
I'm just trying to cover up the risk.
You are actually transferring the risk. Okay, so there are like multiple practices. These are the 6 I'm highlighting, and I will not be talking about all of them anyways. I'll be talking about 1, 2, 3, and 4 because we have 1 hour. That's not 1 hour. Okay, so there is context-driven testing, there is test-driven testing, test-driven development, there is acceptance test-driven development, and then there is exploratory testing. And my focus will be on this one, which I'll take in the class. How about that? We will stick around. Okay, context-driven testing. Context-driven testing principles. The value of any practice depends on its context. Right? 100 rupees. What is it worth? It depends. What? Depends on what? 100 rupees, right? I give you 100 rupees. Will you be happy?
Obviously.
Will it be sufficient?
दूसरे का पैसा अच्छा ही लगता
And what you want to buy is the right? What a movie. I can say a very plain sentence. You tell me what I mean. What a movie. How was the movie? What? A movie? What? A movie? Okay, what are we going to do in this weekend? We're going to watch a movie. What? A movie? Waste of time. What do you want to go for a movie? Right? What are we adding here? We are adding the context. Can you document this in document? Please. Can you? You write. What a movie. Customer said, what a movie. Isn't it? What are we supposed to do with that thing? I don't know. If you figure it out, tell me. Okay? There are good practices in the context, but there are no best practices. How many of you actually are coming from the development background? How many of you have heard design principles? What is the first code in the design principles book? What is the first code in the design practices book? There is no good or bad design. There is only feasible and not feasible design. If you design something and if it works, that is the design. whether it is feasible or not feasible is the question, right? So there are no best practices. There are good and there are bad practices. Good enough principle. Okay? People working together are the most important part of any context. Right? Do you have to explain that one? I think we wasted lots of time on that, right? Rather let me say invested. Projects unfold over time that are often not predictable. Can you tell me how the system will look like 6 months down the line? Can we? That's what we are trying to do in the waterfall, isn't it? Sorry, I mean the waterfall in person will be getting hiccups right now, but that's okay. I want to tell them anyway. Projects unfold over the time in the ways that are often unpredictable. Forget about the projects. If I ask you, how many of you know where is Gandhinagar? Where is it? Lots of people say Gujarat. I always want to go down just for it. Always. You know, I just want to go to Gandhinagar. I don't have time of like 8 hours, man. I need a 15-minute estimate to go to Gandhinagar. Can anybody give me that? Okay, let's say. How long will you take to go to Gandhinagar? Oh, wait. Just down the road. Half an hour. Anybody earlier than that? It's RFP right now. Let's say. 10 minutes. Who said 10 minutes? Anybody less than 10 minutes?
Depends on what time you want to go there.
Exactly, that's the context, right? So somebody said 10 minutes. Right? So you put your estimates. What will you cover in your estimates? Traffic lights and traffic and everything. Let's say you're going now, there is no traffic, but there are traffic lights. What will you assume? How many lights are there? 3. What will you assume? How much time will you actually wait on a traffic light? About a minute. So how much time will you actually include in your traffic estimate? 2 minutes for 3 lights. 1 minute per light and 2 minutes for 3 lights. Somebody help me with the mathematics, but that's okay. Right? So you wait at the light, there is a big truck in front of you. Green. Go, man. And the truck gets stuck. You are on the same light 2 times. What happens? You are actually investing 1 more minute. What are you going to do? Could you predict that thing that there was a truck? No. That's what happened in the software. Isn't it? That's something called a change request actually. Right? The product is a solution. If the problem isn't solved, the product doesn't work. Right? Definition of that. What we are supposed to do. That's our job actually. Good software testing is a challenging intellectual process. How many of you believe? You coming from the testing background? You probably will say no. Yes. Right? I mean, good software testing, you will say yes. I development. Only through judgment and skills, exercise, cooperative. I mean, I don't want to read this. Can somebody read it? It's too close for me. I'm not prepared.
Only through judgment and skill, exercise cooperatively throughout the entire project, are we able to do the right things at the right time to effectively test our product?
That's what it is. Not again. Right? You got to take a breath after that. Just to get it. Right? So what it means is, if you want to develop software, you need the skills. If you do not have the skills, you can't do it. Like one of my customers used to say, Mike Marcus, if you want to build the skyscrapers, you cannot do that with the carpenters. You cannot build a Burj Dubai with the help of carpenters. You need the construction workers, ECC. Okay? Let's go to like one practice at a time. I'm like coming to wrapping it up actually. ATD is the acceptance test driven development. There are four stages: discuss, design, develop, and demonstrate. I did not name them like in one sequence order. For a reason, you can start anywhere. Can you really start anywhere?
Yes.
Can you start with demonstrate? Question: can you start with the demonstration? How many of you say no? Okay. How many of you have to work on proposals? We put the case studies. What do we do? Demonstrating the experience. If somebody wants to develop a MI system, I'll take probably our MI system, walk him through, okay, this is what the MI system is supposed to have. I'm starting with the demonstration. The last stage actually, but how do you say last? It's a circle, right? The 8th child of Devaki and whatever that thing was going to kill comes. I don't know which one 8, right? So I kill all of them. Isn't it? I'm not counting, of course. Right, so we start with, if you're starting on a new system, you start with discuss, go design, develop, and demonstrate. But what are we designing here? What are we designing?
Software. Product.
You said software product. How many of you believe?
Cases.